We call ourselves Size. I'm here on behalf of my boss, Margaret Martinosi, the assistant director for Size, who couldn't be here. I've been in this role as the dad, we call ourselves, for Size since September 2021. Previously, I served as the deputy division director for the Division of Information and Intelligence Systems, one of the 4 units within Size. I joined NSF in 2017. Prior to joining NSF, I worked at another federal agency, the Office of Management and Budget. I joined the federal government out of an interest in influencing government policy for science. Before I joined OMB, I was a postdoc in physics. My original field is theoretical nuclear physics. So it's really a pleasure to be here speaking to all of you, our CI Fellows. This latest instantiation of CI Fellows was launched back in May 2020 by the Computing Research Association and the Computing Community Consortium with NSF support to mitigate hiring disruptions caused by the pandemic. This was modeled after an earlier effort to mitigate hiring disruptions in the wake of the financial crisis in 2008. And as you know, we supported a second cohort of CI Fellows in 2021, and we've been so excited to support you. Such amazing early career investigators. And just like the previous set of CI Fellows who have gone on to do amazing things, we know you will too, and we're really looking forward to that. We at NSF, we're guided by the purpose identified in the law that created our agency: to promote the progress of science and advance the national health, prosperity, and welfare, and to secure the national defense. And these two goals of advancing knowledge and benefiting society, we think about them in everything we do at all scales, including the scale of decisions about individual proposals. And that's why we have these 2 merit review criteria: intellectual merit and broader impacts. We ask all the proposals submitted to us to address those things, just like you had to do in your CI Fellows application. And when we talk about impacts, we have in mind a range of things. Impacts could be impacts to foundational research itself and new fundamental knowledge. The image on the left, that's an image of the black hole at the center of our galaxy. Obviously, that's a contribution to astronomy, but it also hinged on innovations in information analysis that came out of the Size community itself. The impacts could be translational. That image in the middle, it's the so-called tire tracks diagram. It came up several times at the meeting yesterday. It's from a National Academies report that documented the flow of innovations between universities and industry, leading to new products and markets and tremendous economic impact. The impact could also be more directly societal. For example, Size partnered with the College Board to develop a new curriculum for an AP course on computer science principles, transforming the way high school students are introduced to computing. As a result, we're seeing significant change in the backgrounds of students who are introduced to computing. As an agency, we support research and education across all fields of science and engineering. Our primary organizational units are directorates that steward different fields like biology, engineering, geoscience, physical science, social science, and of course, computer and information science and engineering. That's Size, that's us. Whenever my boss, Margaret, gives a talk, she talks about 3 technical themes. These are things we think about as going on in our technical environment that influence what we do. All 3 came up in the panels yesterday. One is something we call the post-Moore seismic shift. The end of Moore's law impacts all aspects of computing: hardware, software, curriculum. This is an opportunity to reinvent computing. Another theme is the transcendence of AI across all areas of computing. The huge impact we're seeing from AI is due to advances across algorithms, data systems. Likewise, AI is broadly impacting computing, as well, of course, as the way we all live and work. And a third theme is designing beneficial socio-technical systems. That this interaction of people and computing is something that benefits people broadly. and that benefits don't just accrue to a few. At NSF, we try to be open and responsive to ideas across the breadth of the fields we steward. At the same time, as a federal agency, we try to stimulate the community to address national priorities like emerging industries like AI, quantum, advanced wireless, cybersecurity, information integrity, pandemic preparedness, diversity, equity, and inclusion, climate, and so on. Here are a few figures that give you a sense of the scale of our activities. Our directorate size has a budget of about $1 billion. We process about 7,000 proposals a year. We made 1,740 awards in 2021. We supported 373 institutions and about 19,000 people. And engaging people and institutions broadly is something that's really important to us. It's important because we want to make sure we get great ideas from all kinds of people and institutions, all different places, and also because we want to see that all kinds of people and places have the opportunity to get our support. And as an organization, we provide a significant fraction of the federal support for academic computing research. Our directorate itself is organized into 4 primary units. There's the Division of Computing and Communication Foundations, which advances computing and communication theory, algorithms for computer and computational sciences, and architecture and design of hardware and software. There's a Division of Information and Intelligence Systems, which advances the understanding of the interrelated role of people, information, and computing, and supports fields like AI, robotics, data science, human-computer interaction. There's a Division of Computer and Network Systems, which looks to invent new computing and networking technologies and explore new ways of using existing technologies. This division is also the organizational home for our computing, education, and workforce development activities. And there's the Office of Advanced Cyber Infrastructure, which develops and provisions cyber infrastructure for research and education across all fields, not just computing fields. And within those 4 units, there are what we call our core programs. These are the programs that kind of define each of the units. So within CCF, there's algorithmic foundations, communications and information foundations, software and hardware foundations, and foundations of emerging technologies. Within IIS, there's human-centered computing, there's information integration and informatics, there's robust intelligence. Within computer and network systems, there's one core program, but like I said, it's also the home for our education and workforce development activities. And within the Office of Advanced Cyber Infrastructure, there's one core program that covers the breadth of what they do. Most size funding opportunities are described in what we call solicitations. These are descriptions of what we're looking for in a proposal. So the core programs I just described, there's one solicitation that covers all of them. It's the current one is NSF 21616. If you search for that, it'll turn up. So that one solicitation calls for proposals to any of our core programs. So it's a place to submit a proposal in any area of computing, communications, and information. Now, in addition to our core programs, which steward the fields that define each of our units, there are a lot of programs at the agency that support interdisciplinary work that cut across size and NSF fields and organizational units. There are programs that span primarily size fields, including community research infrastructure, minority serving institution research expansion, expeditions in computing, which are larger projects, principles and practice of scalable systems, which look for projects that kind of integrate efforts across the whole computing stack. There are also programs that span multiple directorates. That includes our cyberphysical systems program, foundational research in robotics, which is a close partnership between our directorate and the engineering directorate, research on emerging technologies for teaching and learning, which is a close partnership between us and the education directorate, secure and trustworthy cyberspace, and the National AI Research Institutes program. That last program is one that our director mentioned in the video at the beginning of the day yesterday. So let me just say a few words about a couple of these programs. So one I mentioned is our Secure and Trustworthy Cyberspace program. This is a program to support projects that enable new ways to design, build, and operate cyber systems to protect infrastructure and educate people about cybersecurity. It also seeks to enable multidisciplinary approaches to these issues. It views cybersecurity as a socio-technical issue. As a result, it's a collaboration between several different parts of the agency, our directorate size, as well as the directorates that support social science, physical science and math, engineering, and education. It's one of NSF's largest research programs. Another program I want to highlight today is our cyberphysical systems program. This program supports innovations in systems with, that integrate computational and physical components. For example, innovations that advance capability, adaptability, resilience, security, safety, usability. And because of the multidisciplinary nature of these associated challenges, it also is a place where multiple parts of our agency collaborate. I mentioned at the beginning that as an agency, our mission is to promote the progress of science, and part of that is nurturing the health of the scientific enterprise, including developing the research workforce. CI Fellows is an example of that. I also want to introduce you to a couple of programs we have for early career faculty. So one is our career program, and the intent of that program is to provide stable support to enable folks to develop careers as outstanding researchers and educators, and those are our 5-year projects. You do need to be in a tenure track position, and you do need to be untenured, and we encourage you to submit your first proposal early, within the first couple of years of your tenure track appointment. Another opportunity is the Size Research Initiation Initiative. That has a different purpose. That is really to help kickstart research independence for folks who may not have access to resources at their organization to do so. So again, you need to be in a tenure track position, and you need to be untenured, and to be eligible now, you have to be at a so-called non-R1 institution. And so a R1 institution are those that are classified as very high research activity. And these are smaller awards. They're 2-year projects. And CRI is not intended to be a prerequisite for career. It has a different purpose. If you've got resources to help you, get started on your career, if you've got a startup package, CRI is not right for you. You should go for a career. Although I highlighted, a few opportunities, I just want to mention there's in fact a wide world of NSF funding opportunities. I'm not going to walk through all this, but I wanted to make you aware of the possibilities, and some of those are scoped within size fields. Like I said, some of them are programs with a size leadership role. Some of them are programs largely led by other parts of the agency. And as you think about your future as researchers and educators, I encourage you to take a look at the landscape of NSF funding opportunities and think about where you can contribute. And if you're motivated by interdisciplinary challenges, I've heard many of you mention that over the last couple days, start building the expertise you need to tackle those challenges. Start building the networks you need to assemble the teams that will allow you to tackle those challenges. And just a bit of advice and pointers to resources to kind of help you navigate the opportunities that are out there at NSF. One thing you can do is you can look for projects that we currently fund that might be in a similar area to what you're interested in, and find out what programs support them. You can find information about every single NSF funded project on the NSF website. You can find an abstract of the project. You can see which programs funded it. You can see who the PIs are. You can see what the institution is. And you can see who at NSF is the program officer who oversees that project. You can also find contact information for all NSF program officers at the NSF website. So find a program that seems relevant to you, that aligns with your interests. Contact the program officer for that program. You can also directly browse for NSF funding opportunities at the NSF website. And we, NSF, we need you. I said our mission is to promote the progress of science and provide benefits to the public, but we accomplish our mission by supporting you. We don't do research ourselves. We advance our mission by giving you resources to realize your ideas and for you yourselves in turn to mentor the next generation of researchers and educators. So please, send us your proposals. Tell us about the great results from your research. There are other ways that we need your help as members of the community to accomplish our mission. One is to be a reviewer yourself someday. That's a great way to learn about the review process and to gain insight into what makes a successful proposal. How do you become a reviewer? So one way is to get size email updates. You can go to our website and sign up for updates from us. And we periodically send out messages to the community, letting them know we're interested in finding reviewers. But another way is to again reach out to a program officer. If there's a program that you're interested in, find the program officer that covers that program. Let them know that you're interested in being a reviewer. And that's really one of the things that I hope you take from this talk, to talk to our program officers. Talk to them about your ideas. Get their advice about how your idea fits into, what we do as an agency. And, also think about being a program officer at NSF yourself someday. Our program officers are actually a mix of, career federal civil servants, as well as rotators, folks who come in from their home academic institutions and serve temporarily at NSF. Actually, people serve rotating roles at NSF at all levels. My boss, Margaret, she's a rotator herself. So think about this yourself down the road. And we at NSF, we have a mission to advance knowledge and benefit society, and we do that by supporting you. Think big. We heard some advice yesterday from folks on the panels about what our role as an agency is, and we again can't realize that without you taking some of that advice to heart. Think about what you can do that other people aren't doing, that other sectors like industry aren't doing. Pursue those crazy ideas, take those risks, work on those problems that other players in our ecosystem aren't doing themselves. Again, thank you all for being here. It's great to be here with you. Of course, NSF and SIZE, we're not the only place you can look for support. And so, I'm happy to be joined here by my colleagues, Susan Gregoric from NIH and Kathleen Fisher from DARPA. So thank you.